Is your business protected against the threat of malicious litigation and frivolous lawsuits? Are you sinking company profits into marketing campaigns that do nothing to contribute to the growth of your business? Bottled Business Sense provides practical business perspectives that uniquely emphasize both legal and media marketing strategies to protect and ensure the longevity of your business. Now, whether you're trying to provide a startup business with some level of stability or an established business with foolproof asset and estate protection, or simply attempting to get a better return for your business marketing dollars, Bill Bernard and Rick Moscoso will expose potential pitfalls to ensure the security and growth of your business, free from unwanted expense and the threat of litigation. You'll learn how to implement marketing and protection tools equal to those used by today's most successful corporations. Let's join Bill and Rick for today's Bottled Business Sense show.
Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year. Today is Tuesday at 10 o'clock Pacific time here on the Bottled Business Sense show. My name is Rick Moscoso, one of your co-hosts today. On the other side, we have Mr. Bill Bernard, and Bill is going to talk about living trusts and asset protection overview. So with that, let's get right into it, and then we'll let you know where you can find us at the end of the show. So welcome to the episode, Bill. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Rick. Thanks. Hi, everybody. We're going to talk briefly today, very briefly, about living trust and asset protection overview. And I've talked about this before, but I wanted to bring this up very succinctly and directly today because of all of the confusion that I still continue to get from people who ask me wherever I go about, hey, I can even get emails. I want a living trust and I want the protection it affords. Let me just say it this way. A revocable living trust protects your assets from people with legal claims against you is always what you hear, right? Well, if I get a living trust, I'm going to protect my assets from people with legal claims against you. No, they don't protect you from legal claims, not at all. That's because you are treated as the owner of the property that you put in that revocable living trust. When you set up a typical probate avoidance revocable living trust, in other words, something to avoid the cost and expense and timely time consumption probate procedure, you are typically acting as the trustee of that trust, meaning you can put property in that trust, you can take it out, sell it, give it away. And as a practical matter, that property is still yours. It's just in a living trust in order to avoid probate. You have made a contract with yourself. Also, the law considers you the owner of the trust property. And as I said earlier, it's revocable, so you can revoke it at any time. And also any income tax that's paid on any assets in the trust that make money goes on your personal tax return. For all of those reasons, you do not have creditor protection. That is, the people who set up the trust do not have creditor protection. Rather, creditor protection in a revocable living trust is provided to the beneficiaries of that trust if you have a spendthrift provision in the trust. I'm not going to get into spendthrift trusts here. That's not the purpose of this show. But spendthrift trusts allow limited access to the funds by the beneficiaries, and therefore, think of it this way, if your beneficiaries can't reach the assets, neither can a creditor. Those assets are for the beneficiaries now, not for you. The beneficiaries don't yet own the property. The beneficiaries are protected against creditor claims for any assets they're going to receive by way of the spendthrift clause of the living trust. Next, asset protection requires a giving up of control and ownership. Therefore, we make the leap to the irrevocable living trust. And if you want an irrevocable living trust, that is a trust where you give up ownership of the assets you're placing into the trust, then typically there are many ways where you can receive asset protection by way of placing the assets in that trust. There are a number of different kind of trusts. One is called a defective grantor's trust, and there's very creative ways to be able to access income from those types of trusts by way of the assets generating the income within the trust. But that's something that's, number one, expensive to do, and number two, you should see a lawyer by all means if you want that done. So irrevocable living trusts are a vehicle that could allow asset protection if you want to go ahead and try to explore those. Lastly, I want to say, if we go back to the revocable living trust where you have no asset protection, you can always place assets in an LLC or an S corporation, which is an entity structure that provides asset protection of your personal assets, and then place the shares of that corporation or the units of the LLC that you own in the living trust. Then the entity continues to provide the asset protection, and the revocable living trust allows you to bypass probate once those assets are passed on to your heirs. That's it in a nutshell. I hope that answers a lot of questions. If not, please give me a call and we can discuss it further.
Yeah, that's great. That's great information, Bill. I know a lot of people are hesitant sometimes to make that investment to protect themselves in the fashion that you just explained.
Right.
Bill has a great vehicle, online vehicle, and it's process oriented, and I helped him develop it on his website. And to learn more about this, take some time to listen to his videos, get some more information on this, and you tell the audience where you can find that, Bill.
Yeah, it's on the following website. Both URLs are owned by me. One is protectyourestate365.com, protectyourestate365.com, and then also PYE standing for Protect Your Estate, PYE365.com. You can go there, you can listen to videos, you can see drop-down boxes that answer your specific questions about estate planning. You can fill out forms that go directly to my inbox and my email if you want to create a trust, a probate avoidance living trust. One very exactly the same as I have for my family is sold excuse me, for $15.99 on that site. That includes all of your powers of attorney for assets, health care, and your trust certification, and of course your living trust, which by itself is about a 35-page document or so. So all of that attendant documentation is done for you for $15.99, and I would just simply say that if you're not going to be a DIY person, which in this instance I would urge you not to be, you're never going to find anything that's going to be that reasonable anywhere else. I'm just going to say that right out. And the selling point is very simply this, folks. It's a trust that I have for my family. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do this trust for myself if it wasn't going to work. I paid $5,000 for a living trust for my parents some years ago. I had a brother. I wanted to avoid the appearance of impropriety, of course, and so I had it done by somebody who I trusted, and paid a going rate of anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 for a typical living trust. So it's on those sites at those two URLs with a wealth of information. Please check it out if you have the time.
Yeah, and the beauty about it, I can tell you, is that you have access to an expert like Bill versus trying to do it online. You just don't know who you're going to get, right? That's
right. And by the way, Rick is very generous to point this out. Rick does not make any money by telling you about my site. It is prohibited by law for an attorney to share his fees with someone else, a non-attorney. Attorneys are only allowed to share fees with other attorneys. So, and that's a state law. So Rick's proud of his work, and he should be, but he's really trying to point out to you in an objective fashion that this stuff is available to you out there. That's why we provide this free information for your benefit. So with that said, folks, I hope you have a great week, a profitable week, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of the show.
All right. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Bottled Business Sense Show.